Welcome friends to this video. We are going to be learning how to draw the face from different angles using a cube. So we're going to look at all different angles straight on in 1 point perspective. We're going to do up, down, left, right, and to each corner or side, I guess. Let's go ahead and get started. What I have here is Procreate on the iPad, and I think what we'll do is start in the 1 point perspective views. And so what I'll do is start by drawing a horizon line. This is essentially our eye level, and we're looking in front of us, and we're going to imagine, I'm going to do kind of an oval here just to represent the face structure here. And then also I'm going to wrap around this oval, kind of this line here, to represent the eye level. Now what we're going to do is draw a cube or a box around this figure. So I'm going to do this in a new layer. And so this way we can kind of see what, if we're going to do this, if we're going to build out the figure, how we would do that. So this one is pretty simple. You're looking straight on. You're not going to see any side planes of the face. So this is 1 point perspective right in front of us. Now let's go up one level and let's draw another. Let's do another oval. And I'm going to draw a straight line to kind of get the center point, because when we rotate it, we'll see where that is. So just imagine straight line is where your nose is, and then your eye level is actually going to be higher. It's going to be up toward the top because we're going to be looking up. So imagine if you're looking up, you're going to see the bottom of your chin. So that's where, let's go ahead and sketch in the box now. So the rest of this is going to stay the same. However, we're now going to see the bottom of the chin here when we're looking up. And so this is going to come down to a vanishing point down here. So that's when we're looking up. Now let's go ahead and do something similarly and look down. So we have a figure here. And right down the middle, we're still looking straight ahead. However, now our eye level, or our eyes, or if you're looking down, if someone's looking down and you're looking at them, you're going to see the eye level is further down. So I'm going to represent by that by like that, by putting the eye level down further. And now we can go ahead and draw our cube around that. And so it's going to be kind of similar to this, but the opposite. So instead, you're going to see the top plane here around the cube, and these will go off into the vanishing point like that. So these are all in 1 point perspective, and you know that because if these X and Y planes, we'll call them this front side of the box is not converging to a vanishing point, this will change when we actually rotate our image. But for now, we're going to, these are going to be in 1 point perspective. Now, if let's go ahead and change our rotation now to the side view. So if our person's head is moved over to the side, so I'm still going to represent it as an oval here. This time though, however, if you imagine the nose is going to be over in this direction, eye level in this case is the same as here. So let's go ahead and draw our cube around that. So now what we're going to draw, I'm going to draw the front of the cube, or the edge, and it's going to be right over that front plane. And then we're going to see, if your head is tilted this way, you're going to see most of the side face. So that's over here. So you have a bigger plane on this side. And so this is a good practice to think of when you're looking at someone's face. If you think of it as a box, okay, if you're turned to the side, you're going to see majority of this and a little bit of this side of the face. So that's where this plane comes in. We're going to see a little bit here. And then these will go off into the vanishing point as well. But essentially, you get that. So this is 2-point perspective because you're seeing the edge, and 2 of these are vanishing into 2 different vanishing points. Now let's go ahead and do the other direction, kind of similar, except the opposite direction. So we have our oval here. This time we're facing that way. Eye level is the same. So same thing here. There's the edge of our cube. It's going to fall back further. We have a bigger plane right here. This is kind of where the ear is. And then a smaller plane here. And the vanishing points. All right. So these 2 are in 2-point perspective. Now let's go ahead and do the corners. So imagine if you're now the person is turned and their head is looking up at you. That is what we're going to do in the next one. So we're going to be looking this direction. And the way I'd represent that is the nose or the midline is going to be tilted further up. So we're going to see more of the plane this direction. And then the eyes are going to be up here. So kind of combine both of these. It's going to be over on this side and higher up. Now this is going to be a little bit different because it's more in 3-point perspective because of the tilt of you're going up and over. So let's go ahead and start outlining our cube, what that would look like. So if you imagine here, what you want to kind of do, or at least what I do, is look for the closest that's nearest toward you. So if you imagine this person is facing up and toward you, their chin is going to be closest, and then the rest of it is going to be further and it starts to vanish or foreshorten. So that's what I like to look for first, is that chin is going to be the closest to you. Then what I'm going to do is draw the vertical lines. I find this pretty easy because kind of similar to what we did over here, our vertical lines were over the midway point and around the edges. So I can carry this here over the midway point, and now I also can do the side edges, but they're going to converge a bit. And this one is going to be larger plane than this one here. And once we get that, these will also vanish to the vertical vanishing point. I'm just going to do dots for now. All right, now once I have that, another thing that I think find helpful for me is where I found this point here. It's kind of you have your axis. So this is the closest point. You have 3 points. You're going to have one coming this direction and one going this direction. And so now we can start the other planes. What I'm going to do here is do the plane toward the bottom horizon line. So this top one is going to be more dramatic, and it's going to come down here toward the horizon line. And then this one here is going to come and vanish, point to it. And then this one here is, well, it's going to be a little more dramatic there. And it's also going to come to that vanishing point. So there's 3 sides of that plane all converging here. Now I can do the other one, which is going to converge in this direction. So dramatic, or actually out here, dramatic curve, just like here up at the top, because it is angled at the furthest point. And so now these 3 points are going to vanish and connect. So if we want, we can go ahead and hide that real quick. And now you can see what our cube looks like if we were going to imagine that in 3-point perspective. And then we can start drawing in the facial features. So let's keep going. Let's kind of repeat this. This one is a little more difficult, the more perspectives that you add, or the more vanishing points. All right, now let's go over to this quadrant, and we'll do another oval, this time looking up in this direction. And then I'll do the midline here and the eye line closer to the top. Actually, the eye line closer to the top here. Then we'll start constructing our cube. So similarly, the chin this time is over in this side. So that's one way to think about it, is it's closest to the horizon but furthest from the vertical vanishing point. All right, so now once I have that, I can start drawing in my vertical lines. So here, this is going to be the thinner one. This is the larger plane. Those will converge. Then this one is more dramatic. It's going to come down here, and then this one here you can kind of think of as we're going to branch it off to 3 axes right here at the center point. This one's going to come down, and then we're going to have another line here. It's going to come down. So we have the 3 points converging here, and then we'll do the other 3 points. This one's going to be pretty dramatic. It'll come down here, and then these two will meet there. So now we have this one. Let's go ahead and construct the bottom left one now. So the head would be tilting facing this direction, and the midline is down at the bottom, and the eye line this time is further down. So if you imagine tilting down and tilting in this direction, what's the closest point? Right up here at the eyebrow area. So that is going to be furthest away from the midline and then closest to the horizon. So I just kind of like to mark that here, right in that area. So then I can come right down along the midpoint. This is the widest part, and this is the most narrow part, and they converge. You can just do the vanishing points for practice if you like. Now we'll go ahead and start constructing toward the mid section here. So most dramatic is at the furthest away point, so that will vanish here into the middle section. And then remember that X, once we find this point, or that we call it a Y, here would be upside down Y, here would be a kind of a wider version of a Y. All right, that's going to vanish here. Same thing here, that's going to vanish. All 3 of those together. Now we can do the extreme version here. It's going to come up here closer to the horizon. Then we have this one, and we have this one. So now we have our box there. Now we can do one last one, and it gets pretty easier as you go. So imagine here's the oval of the face. Here's the midline, here's the eyes further down. All right, so same technique. So furthest away from the midsection and closest to the horizon, so right up here. This time it would be the other eyebrow. And we're gonna come down right over that midsection. This is the narrow point, this is the wider point. So just outline that, and then if you want, add the vanishing point. Then once we do that, we do the Y, so you can kind of imagine this coming up to this horizon. So that kind of gives you some guidelines here. I'm going to do that Y section here. So this one comes up to meet it, and then one more here. This one comes across to meet it. So we've got those 3 to the center section. Now we'll do out toward the horizon line. So this one's the most dramatic. About like that. All right, that's it. So these 4 are all in 3-point perspective because you have each parallel set of parallel lines are converging to a vanishing point, and these are 2, and this one is 1. And same thing up here and here. So that concludes the head in any direction. Hopefully this helps you construct or visualize turning of head and how you can properly, once you have this construction or the box, then you can break it down into more of a sphere and add more inside of the box. But at least this kind of gives you the better idea of where the head is in space. So I'm going to be building on future lessons to draw in spheres and draw in more specifics. This is kind of the first video of that series. So hopefully you found it helpful. And as always, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on the future videos, and hit the bell. And I can't wait to see you in the next video. See you next time.